welcome to today's episode of the Nigerian Bossman, and it's a pleasure to have you on my channel. I will say that I've missed you guys. It's 2 weeks already since my last 2 videos. Of course, you know the different responsibilities one have to handle. Today, I'm starting on a very positive note because I have a couple of issues which I want to address. So please sit tight and continue to watch. If you like what you are watching, please go ahead and subscribe and press the like button, and also comment. I want to see your comments coming in. I will really appreciate that, because that will make this discourse more interesting. I'm starting by appreciating a Nigerian in the person of Mary Ngozi Kekwaaru. She's a worker at the Radisson Hotel in Lagos, and she found $70,000 that was left behind by a customer, and she did not in any way, she was not tempted to steal from that money or take any part of it. She returned the money back to management, and that prompted them to call the customer. But the question I want to ask, what would a person be doing with $70,000 cash being carried around and even leaving such behind? So it shows that the person has a lot of cash to throw around. And this particular customer, I understand, has asked for his or her anonymity to be maintained. But in a place where there are structures of accountability in place, I think that a person like this should be called in to state where he or she got such an amount of money that is being carried around. That is what I think would have happened in a place where there's accountability. But of course, we know that in our country, almost anything goes. But I want to appreciate Ngozi Mary Kekwaaru for this very honest act. I want to encourage you to continue along this line. Of course, I know that some people would have already called you Mugu, which means foolish. But you know there's always a reward for honesty. No matter how things might have gone, you should be proud of yourself. And I'm also proud of you as a Nigerian that you were able to do this. You were not tempted to steal the money, but you returned it back to the rightful owner. Along the line, your reward is waiting for you. And God appreciates what you have done, because honesty pays. You might not see it now, but it's going to play out on the long run. I'll go on to the next issue. During the last United Nations General Assembly meeting, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, or the so-called president of Nigeria, he was hosted by some Nigerians, and he made a couple of statements. And I'll read a couple of them, or I'll read 2 of them. He said, sincerely, we don't have any reason being poor. We are just poor in some leadership areas. I'll pause there. He did say that Nigerians have no business being poor. Yes, that is a correct statement, but it's not a complete statement. He said that they are poor in just some leadership areas. No, I disagree. The political class of Nigeria are despicable. They are a bunch of greedy, primitively greedy individuals. And that is the reason why many Nigerians are in poverty today. Because Nigerians have no business being poor. Nigeria as a nation, if our resources had been well utilized, we as a nation have no problem with poverty. But you see, like in all African nations, the problem comes back to the primitive greed of the political class. That is the reason why Nigeria and most nations in Africa are in the quagmire that they are in today. So back to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a governor of Lagos State. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, before coming into politics in Nigeria, what was his net worth? But before, just during the when he was supporting Buhari, bullion vans drove into his residence. Where did he get that much money? And the money that is throwing around today, how did he acquire it? So he is part of the compromised leadership, political class of Nigeria that has contributed to the poverty of Nigeria. And that is the reason why Nigerians are suffering. Because if the resources of Nigeria had been judiciously used, we indeed would have no business with poverty. He went on to say that it was a gruesome campaign, but he won. But if he had not thrown himself in with strong determination and resolve, he would not have won. Yes, indeed. We know the kind of determination he threw in. We know the kind of resolve he threw in. The results of the election, this last presidential elections, we know that things did not go the way it was supposed to go. Yes, he might have won in the so-called election tribunal, but we know what had happened. Even before they went to the tribunal, the rumor was already out. They say that when there's too much dirt in the soup, even a blind man will know. That's a proverb. The way the elections of Nigeria was conducted, is that how an election should have gone? I have lived abroad for so many years. And where I live, I have never, for once, heard about any election tribunal holding. Why? Because the election is conducted freely, transparently, and fairly for everyone to see. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu is stating here that he went in with a strong resolve, else he would not have won. We know how he won the elections, and that is why today he's still trying to justify, he's still trying to validate himself. Let Bola Ahmed Tinubu step out to the public. Let him take a walk on the street, just like Peter Obi is doing. No, it's a challenge to him. If he indeed thinks that he won the elections fair and square, I challenge him to take a walk across the states of Nigeria. Visit, let him take a walk on the street, just as Peter Obi had been doing. He said Nigeria is open for business. It's a home for business and opportunities. Yes, if Nigeria had been properly managed, Nigeria would be one of the most beautiful places to be on planet Earth. But the greed and the wickedness of the political class have percolated across board, so that business owners are being frustrated. We see cases of double taxation. I have seen some people who have come from abroad to set up business. Many of them have been frustrated and have had to pack up because of the corrupt nature of the leadership of Nigeria that have infected the different sectors of the economy. He also expressed delight that Nigerians are excelling abroad. And I think that he should be ashamed to make such a statement. Why are Nigerians excelling abroad? Nigerians are excelling abroad because they have been given an environment to thrive. Nigerians even have more opportunities abroad than in their own home, in their own country, because of the wickedness of the political class, because of the narrow-mindedness, the "let me eat now" syndrome that has held Nigeria in this quagmire that it has been right from independence, and is even worsening. Nigerians will continue to excel wherever they go, because Nigerians are brilliant people, Nigerians are hardworking people, and so given the right environment, they will thrive and excel. In the US, Nigerians are the most educated of all immigrants, and they are making a landmark in all the sectors where they have gone into. This is happening because they have the right environment. My challenge to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cohort is for them to sit back and think within themselves if the things they have done can truly put Nigeria in a place where Nigerians will thrive. Look at the so-called leader or head of APC, Ganduje, a man who was caught on tape, taking bribe of thousands of dollars from someone who was offering a contract, and yet Buhari said that it was photoshopped. And now he is the head of the party, APC. So what would you expect? Indeed, Nigerians are submerged in poverty because we have a primitively greedy set of political class that have looted the collective resource of the people. Under APC alone, over $2 billion conservatively have been looted by those who are in office. Another reason why many Nigerians are in poverty is because we have a horrible power sector. Many small-scale businesses have folded up because they could not afford to continue to run generators. And yet today, the price is being hiked for electricity tariffs. The electricity tariffs is being hiked even when there's little or no power supply. Nigerians, most can no longer afford to run generators because diesel has skyrocketed and so has petrol. So why won't Nigerians, many Nigerians, be submerged in poverty? It is sad because Nigeria is supposed to be the 6th largest producer of crude oil in the world. But this is part of what wickedness among the political class can cause. The Nigerian leadership, in my opinion, is a behest of charlatans and rogues. It grieves my heart to hear that in Benue State, people in internally displaced camps, the women are giving birth in toilets. And this has led to high mortality rate, infant mortality rate in those places. It is just inhuman. And why do we have in a country that is not that is not engaged in war, we have internally displaced people all across the nation? Because the leadership, the compromised leadership of Nigeria, have failed to do what is right. They have failed to address the issue of insecurity. and we have our people like sheep without shepherds. It is sad. I'll go to the next issue, which has to do with the call for arrest of prostitutes in order to curb the menace of prostitution and the use of illicit drugs in Delta State. This motion was raised by Bridget Anyafulu, a representative from the Oshimile South constituency of Delta State. And the motion was seconded by Marilyn Daramola Okowa. Daramola Okowa is the daughter of former governor Okowa. That is how they do it. When they leave, they push their own children in for them to continue their legacy. You see, it is easy for them to say that they should arrest those who are involved in prostitution and the use of drugs. They fail to address the critical question in this matter. Why are these people? Why is the issue of prostitution increasing? Why is the use of drugs increasing? People go into prostitution for different reasons. Prostitution has never been a part of our culture as a people across Nigeria. No matter how diverse our culture is, prostitution has never been something that people had voluntarily embraced. If you speak to people who are involved in prostitution today, apart from a few greedy ones who are looking for quick money, if you speak to many of them were forced into prostitution, or they went in because they had no way. They did not have any other way to turn to. You see, prostitution is the most debasing act anyone can be involved in. The act of sex is supposed to be a sacred thing and something reserved for somebody who you love. So for somebody to come down to that level of having to sell herself or himself because of money is very, very demeaning and debasing. So the lawmakers in Delta State, it is easy for them to just say, arrest these people. But have they sat back to ask this critical question? Why is prostitution and drug use increasing in our state and even across Nigeria? Because the leaders of Nigeria, the political class to which Anyafulu and Okowa belong, they have grossly failed Nigerians. If they have used the resources of Nigeria well, if Okowa as the governor, if he had managed Delta State well, if the other governors in Nigeria have managed the resources of the people well, judiciously, I do not think Nigeria will be having this problem of increased prostitution. We have seen many of our people go into prostitution abroad and at home because they feel this is the way out for them. So the political class of Nigeria, and especially those in Delta State, should get off their high horse. They should sit back and ask themselves the critical question: why is Nigeria in this state? I'll move on to the next matter, which has to do with the declaration by the Tribunal of the APC Gawuna as the election winner in Kano State. The tribunal had sacked NNPP's Abba Yusuf and declared Gawuna as the winner of the election. This is a familiar story. It started with the Presidential Election Tribunal declaring Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the elections. The NNPP candidate won with over 160 something thousand, or over 100 and something thousand. But now, even after Gawuna had congratulated Abba Yusuf on his victory at the polls, the APC, in their usual devious and demonic way, had gone to the court, knowing, of course, that they have set up the structures in place to manipulate things so that Gawuna can become the governor of Kano State, knowing the strategic position of Kano in the north of Nigeria. And of course, that's the state that the former APC chairman, Ganduje, come from. And so they had done everything possible for them to win back that state. It is very sad. And the funny thing is that the panel, those who were in charge of this tribunal, they did not come physically to the courtroom. They made their judgment via Zoom. You can see, if they indeed knew that what they were doing was right, just like the Supreme, the appeal court, the Presidential Tribunal judges who did not allow their faces to be shown because of their cowardice, these same people did not come to the courtroom physically. Rather, they made their judgment via Zoom. Other nations are doing constructive things via Zoom and the different teleconference platforms. But the Nigerian judiciary have reduced themselves to this pathetic state because they know that what they were doing was wrong and the people were going to hold them accountable. Now, a curfew is now in place in Kano State. You know, it is sad the way APC has reduced Nigeria to. It is very sad and it's most embarrassing. APC did terribly, PDP did terribly, but APC, they had surpassed the expectations of Nigerians in terms of capability for evil. I'll go to the last story, which is also a sad one. The governor of Edo State, Obaseki, like you know, when he ran a couple of years ago, the Edo people stood solidly with him because they wanted justice in Edo State, because they were tired of the Godfather mentality, that mentality of this person has to be dead because I've said it. And that is one thing I love about the Edo people. When it comes to issues of politics, they are very straightforward and they want the truth to prevail. And that is part of the reason why you could see that the people of Edo State were one of the people who stood solidly with Peter Obi because of their desire for a better Nigeria. But Obaseki has now turned around to begin to behave like those he met in place. The deputy governor, Shibu, since he declared that he had intention to run as a governor, things have never been the same in their relationship. From what I've heard, Obaseki is against Shibu becoming the governor or running for governor because, in his own words, Shibu is from the north of Edo State. The north of Edo State, or the northern part of Edo State,